We are live. You're watching the Merged Marketing Podcast. You're listening to the Merged Marketing Podcast. This is episode 178. And right there is our very own Megan Thompson, who works here at Merged. Megan, thanks for joining us in the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Megan is the guru, expert, whatever you want to call her, for TikTok. She has amassed over 103,000 followers, which is amazing. And she's constantly putting out amazing content on TikTok. First and foremost, Megan, let's talk about your journey to becoming a TikTok rock star and how you got there.
All right. Well, I first started my TikTok account in summer 2019. I think my first video was a dance video.
Of course, it was TikTok, right?
Exactly. That's what it was back then. And I realized that was not for me. And I think a couple days after that, I had a mouse in my bedroom. And I decided to turn that experience into a TikTok where I captured the mouse, I brought it outside. That was basically the whole video. And that one got maybe a couple thousand views just straight off the bat. So I thought, okay, I can do this. Like, that was easy. So I just kept making random videos using random trending sounds, just making relatable content, things that I feel like people would find funny or relatable or shareable. And yeah, over time, I started gaining a lot of traction. I had some videos that got thousands of views, some millions, and then it just kind of kept piling on. Ever since then, yeah, it's been kind of the same routine.
So have you got to the point where you've had any brands reach out to you for any sort of collaboration?
A couple of times, yeah. Usually it's when I have a viral video that happens. I have a lot of Instagram accounts, like meme accounts, reach out to me asking if they can reshare videos. I've had companies send me products. Like I had skincare companies sending me products. I've had clothing companies sending me products, like different things like that, just to spread word about their company. And it's quite nice.
I had this so back probably 3, 4 years ago now. When I first got on the TikTok, I started posting a lot of kind of entrepreneurial videos, tips and tricks for digital marketing, stuff like that. And then I mixed in this one video of my dog playing with like this brand new dog toy we had. It's basically this thing, the suction cup that stuck to the ground with a ball attached to it and a rope, and you just tug on it, and it's just kind of
Yep.
he just pulls on it. And it was just this video. I just caught him playing with it, posted it, and this got over 700,000 views. And overnight, I had like 70,000 likes pretty much off of this one viral video. But
Mhm.
everything else I post comes nothing close to this one dog video, right? Which obviously works really well with the audience, or a very particular audience. So my next question is about audiences and the type of content that you put out there. Is it okay to kind of put out a smorgasbord of different types of content, family content mixed with entrepreneurial content, mixed with pet content? Or is it good just to focus your one account on one niche?
I think it definitely depends on what you're selling. If you're trying to sell yourself as a creator, you can post whatever you want. If you have a company though, and you are very let's say eco-friendly something, you might want to stick within that niche just to make sure you are reaching the audiences that you want to reach. But that's not to say that you should completely stick to just videos about that niche. There's a term for it. It's called niching down, something about that. So if you have a particular niche, you might think, oh, I could just post solely just videos about eco-friendly products. And then you'd think, oh, that's fantastic. I'm, reaching all my audience. But at the same time, you're not allowing yourself to grow into different audiences that you'd never even thought of. So when you were posting inspirational stuff, you were just getting your TikTok account set up, all of that, that's great. You're reaching your audience. But then with that one video of the dog, you reach a whole different set of audiences that you never thought about reaching before. And if you hadn't posted that thinking, I just need to stick to what I've been doing, then that wouldn't have happened. And a lot of people probably saw that dog video and then saw the rest of the videos you've been posting and then followed you because of the rest of the videos.
Yeah, I definitely think, yeah, I see if you look at the stats, right? Like my account's got a ton of likes on it. not as many followers as I would like. This doesn't match up there. So I almost think that that one dog video might have got a lot of attention for my account, but really that attention was for my dog. So when they went over to my account and they say, "Who's this guy talking about digital marketing?" I could care less because I'm a chef in a restaurant and I just love dogs. There's a disconnect there. But also, in my opinion, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's not like Instagram where you have these followers and a good amount of the content that you put out there is going to go to the people that actually follow you. On TikTok, it's more algorithm based, right? So just because you're posting random videos, some about dogs, some about cooking, some about entrepreneurship or beauty or skincare, it doesn't really matter because the algorithm will put that in front of an audience and the fixation is not so much in that follower count. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that. I think as many audiences as you can get in front of, do it.
Cool. So let's go on to the content creation piece because I find a Megan Thompson video it's consistent in terms of the branding that you put out there, the way you create the videos. Is that by design that you do that?
Um, sort of, I guess. I kinda started off my TikTok not really having a strategy and just posting whatever I wanted, and, I mostly stuck to it. I think recently I have started doing more of a strategy. I got married last year, and wedding TikTok is crazy. So I started niching down and having more of a strategy and, keeping more focus on what I'm trying to reach.
So, how do you decide when to create a certain type of video? Is it, does the idea derive from you having a creative idea, or is that creative idea inspired by a trend?
Usually it's inspired by a trend, but sometimes it is just kind of like inspiration. I'm like driving my car one day and then I'm like, oh, hey, I should make a video about this topic or whatever the case is. Usually I'll write it down in my notes app and have it use it for later. And then whenever I need inspiration for an idea, I just go to that notes app and yeah, that's
Okay,
kind of
let's
what
talk
I
about
do.
that. I like that because I know sometimes when I'll see a certain like this is how I do it. When I see a certain trend, I'll save that trend for later, or I'll write down a certain idea in my Slack channel. Tell us about that process of the content thought idea, and what do you use? Is there a specific app that you use to write those notes down? Explain that exact process.
Yeah, so usually I do it in my reminders app on my iPhone, and it's pretty helpful, especially if it's time sensitive or anything like that. I can literally make sure I get a notification to post about this certain thing. So that's usually where I compile a big list. I have probably like 15 different ideas just piled in there. Some of them probably not so relevant anymore. I should go through it, but usually, although, if it's just a trending sound that I wanna use and just put some text over it, if I have makeup on, it's pretty likely I'll just do it same day. Like, when I see that sound, I'll just throw my camera at it, get it done.
So I like that point. You know what I mean? It's just getting the camera up there and getting it done, right? A lot of people
Right.
think that you need to be absolutely perfect when you create a TikTok. Would you say that's the case?
Uh, yes and no. I feel like, personally, as a woman, I feel like if I look presentable, then it's more likely to gain traction. That might just be my personal bias, but I feel like videos where I don't have any makeup on, hair is all done up, like it doesn't gain as much traction as it would if I have a full face of makeup on or using one of the creepy like filters that are just so realistic. I've been relying on those quite a bit recently, but I feel like if I look more presentable, then it'll reach more people for whatever the reason.
Okay, interesting. So when we talk about traction, do you spend much time looking at previous posts to see which ones actually worked versus the ones that didn't and dive into, well, this one worked because I use these hashtags, I had makeup on this day. Do you look at those analytics to figure out what content you need to create next?
Sometimes, yeah, especially if I'm like at a creative block or if there is like something like I always call it shadow ban, even though it probably is an actual shadow ban. But if my videos are just tanking and I'm maybe getting like 200 views per video and it's just like stagnant, not gaining any traction, I will look back at my old stuff and be like, okay, what worked and what didn't? There could be a billion different factors as to why it worked and why it didn't, and picking and choosing which reasons, it's hit or miss. So I always take it with a grain of salt. Repeating the same process doesn't always have the same results, and I just have to live with that.
When you look back, it's interesting because you can go back and look at previous content. And when you pull up that previous content, there's a search bar on the top. And I talked about this recently in one of my reels. If you look at that search bar, and if it says a keyword in it, it could say small business, social media manager, beauty, healthcare, dental care, whatever it is. If it actually says a keyword in there, it means you're hitting for a certain keyword. It means
That's
you're
right.
hitting for a certain keyword or a trend. And that's great. That's good insight because there's a good chance that's reaching more people when you're showing up for that keyword. So people don't know that there is search engine optimization built into the TikTok platform. If you
Yeah.
go to that same video and just see, and it says search and no keywords in it, and you're probably stuck at maybe 200 or 300 views, and that's because it's not hitting. So I think what people need to do is go back to those previous videos that you've put out there, see if it is hitting for any specific keywords, and you can just replicate it. Replicate what you're doing in terms of hashtags, maybe length of description,
Mhm.
length of copy. There's so many little tiny hacks that I think you can learn from. Everybody's got their 2 cents on some of those hacks that work best for them, whether that's including a short little headline in the first 3 seconds of a video, to hook them in, or whether it's, using 3 hashtags or 20 hashtags, whatever it is. Can you give some hacks to what you're seeing working for you in terms of hashtag length, amount of hashtags, captions, cooks, all that type of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I found that TikTok doesn't really prioritize, or at least in my experience, it doesn't prioritize hashtags over it does like captions, words on the video, as long as they're put in through the app. Anything that TikTok can grasp for information about the video, it'll take, whether that is hashtags or the caption or the text on the video or even the things that you're saying. um, it'll take and it'll put into the algorithm and have people find you. You just have to be very specific. That's what I found works. So if I am, let's say, making a video for a client and we're selling cleaning products, I guess, I'll make sure that I mention like the specific type of stuff that it is cleaning, or the different applications, how versatile it is, the brand name, the different, like all of that stuff that the algorithm could use to push it onto like cleaning TikTok, all of that, different hashtags, text on the screen, make sure the caption is like still appealing but includes all the information that TikTok needs. Usually that is a pretty decent recipe.
So now the topic of this episode is talking about how to build your brand on TikTok. So, many marketing professionals or entrepreneurs watching this may not even have a TikTok account yet. So case in point, when Merged is setting up a new account for a client or for working with a brand new account, what are some best practices on getting started up to try to get that traction?
I think figuring out different trends and different things that other people in your industry are doing on TikTok is step one, just to see what worked in the past and what could work in the future. So, looking at different competitors, even clients, if that's the case for the business, and seeing what works for them. That's kind of step one. Also, you might want to start off by introducing yourselves on TikTok. Try and be as friendly as possible, as engaging as possible. Make sure you have a good hook lined up. So the first 1 to 2 seconds of the video for every video is captivating and keeps viewers hooked. That's the point of a hook, right? So I think having those two things in mind can really make a good impact for your brand new TikTok.
It's funny because one of our clients is a product or has a product that is a hot tub cleansing solution. It's very, think about it. Like, because I know there's a lot of people out there like my brand just won't work on TikTok. Well,
Mhm.
that's the exact same thing this client thought until we started their account. And when you get some creative minds behind the actual product and ways to promote it, it can actually be quite effective. And this specific product, uh, we didn't have a whole ton of content from the client or user generated content to use. So we had to get creative. Maybe Megan, you can talk a little bit about what we did for creating content for that client.
Yeah, so basically, we thought outside of the box and we also thought outside of our For You page. Because as a content creator, it's easy to get sucked into your own For You page thinking this is what TikTok is all about, right? But that's not the case. There's a lot of different things that people are interested in that you personally wouldn't have even thought of. So, what we did for this client is we used like different clips from movies and TV shows, and we found parts of them where they included a hot tub. And you know what? That's a perfect tie in to talk about the hot tub cleaning solution. So, we put some graphics on there, made it interesting, funny, engaging, got people talking. And so far, it's been pretty successful.
I think it's actually I even if they were not a client, I would follow the account because I think the memes that are being posted and the clips from movies that are just happen to be hot tub clips and the spin that we put on them with the captions is actually hilarious.
Hmm.
And you wouldn't think, why would I even care to follow a hot tub cleansing solution? I don't even have a hot tub, but I just like the content.
Yeah,
Right? So, and I know a friend, if a friend has a hot tub that has a problem with their hot tub and need it cleansed, I know exactly what company I'm going to recommend because I follow this great TikTok account. So,
exactly.
yeah, so that's and the good thing is it looks like it's pretty fun creating that content too.
It is. It is. It can be kind of challenging at first because you realize how minimal the amount of hot tub clips there are.
Mm.
So, there's times where we're like, "Oh no, okay, so like we're out of movies, we're out of TV shows. What do we do from here?" But there's always something else. There's always something else. You just have to keep thinking outside the box.
Is there any sort of platforms that you use to find those clips, or do you just Google hot tub clips? Like, how do you go about that?
Well, I started out by just Googling hot tub clips, and there's just a few links that are, clickable where you're not going to get any viruses. You just have to look through all of the available links and then you run out of content from those. And then it's like, okay, what about TV shows? What about commercials? What about different like YouTube clips? Anything that can gain traction that you're allowed to use, of course. But that just requires more out of the box thinking. And, it also isn't just hot tub clips and like stuff like that we could do for the client. There's different trends that could work, different trending sounds, different seasons. Yeah, there's lots of things that you can actually do that'll gain a lot of traction.
I got to ask you about the buzz happening right now with TikTok potentially being shut down in the US. Do you have any feedback or thoughts on that? Do you think it's going to happen?
I really hope it doesn't, because that would be like half of my job gone. So I think they should at least give it a few months, let TikTok, do the things that they said that they would do instead of just being like, no, don't do it. We're just going to ban you. Because that's what it seems like it's going to happen. Because it seems like they went into the whole Congress meeting with their mind already made up. And then they didn't hear out anything that the CEO of TikTok was actually saying. He was giving great feedback, great replies, and then they just threw it all out the window. Didn't care what he had to say. So I think that was pretty unfair. I really hope it doesn't get banned because then I know Canada's probably next.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the half your job aspect of it, Megan, because I mean, as an agency, we pivot to where the traffic is. So if people are not on TikTok, they're going to go over to Reels. Or who knows if B Reels come? Who knows where people are going to go? But it would suck for the 100,000 that you've gained followers that you've gained there for your TikTok and my understanding, you have a spin-off of that as well. You have a product that you're pushing on TikTok as well. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about my small business.
Mhm.
So yeah, I have a small business called Happy Hammy. My maiden name was Ham with two M's, so I was always called Hammy growing up. So I made a business where I basically did a spin on that, and I sell meme and Vine quote home decor for anyone who likes memes, quotes, vines. It's something that always made me happy, and when I first got my Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, I just went crazy and I started making a bunch of different posters and stuff of different Vine quotes. I had them all over my apartment, and then I had people visit my apartment. They're like, "Where did you get this?" And I'm like, "I made it." And they wanted one, so I made the business.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And that's strictly on the TikTok platform is where you're pushing Happy Hammy, right?
Yes, it was TikTok. I also have an Instagram right now, not so much.
Yeah, that's a good segue. Actually, I want to get into that in 1 second. But now is just an even more of an opportunity now, just with the fear of TikTok being shut down. You got to move those followers over to your Instagram, right? And
Exactly.
is there a way that you're trying to do that to encourage them to hop over there? Are you changing your bio on TikTok? What are you doing to try to encourage users to get from your TikTok over to Instagram?
So actually in my TikTok, I don't have it set up where I have the link available just yet. It's either I have to transition it into a business account, which then I lose access to a lot of trending sounds,
Mm,
or there might be other ways to go about putting a link in my TikTok bio, but it's just not happening right now. So right now, if anyone wants to get to my website, they have to go to my Instagram, which is linked to my TikTok. And then the link is in my Instagram bio. And
what's
then
that
there's also,
handle?
sorry?
What's the handle?
Oh, it's, happy-hammy.myspotify.com.
There you go. Okay.
Real classy. It's a startup.
Yeah.
We're gonna get somewhere someday, but
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Okay, so just to go back because we were talking about Instagram and hiccups with Instagram before we recorded this podcast. So recently, your Instagram account, your personal Instagram account, was hacked, right? How did you? Okay, first of all, what did they do when they gained access, and how did you find out?
so it was about midday yesterday, and well, I saw that there was a suspicious login attempt on my Instagram and my Facebook. And luckily, my Facebook has the two-factor authentication process, so they weren't able to get in. And then I went on my Instagram and I checked logged in accounts, and there was another one logged in. So I kicked them out, and I'm like, that's weird. Didn't think much of it. Nothing happened for the rest of the day until around 5 p.m. I saw another suspicious login attempt on my Instagram, and I'm like, that there's something going on here. So I kicked them out and they logged right back in. I changed my password. They still got in. Then they kicked me out. And then I'm like scrambling to try and get back in. There was a back and forth of kicking each other out. And it was just like, I was shaking. I'm scared. I'm like, this is all my like personal stuff that's like so vulnerable right now.
Mm.
And then they kicked me out. They changed the password, email, phone number, and two-factor authentication. And yeah, I was kicked out for good. And then TikTok, Instagram sent me a bunch of stuff to try and log back in, and then it just wasn't working. I tried sending video selfies to verify I am who I say I am. I'm the account owner. And then every time I got a glimmer of hope, thinking, okay, I'm getting back in, Instagram's helping me, they would kick me right back out. And then today, I was trying to get back to that verification process, but it wasn't working. It was sending me error messages every time I tried. And then I realized they probably blocked my IP address somehow because it was
Mm.
happening from my cell phone, my work phone, and my laptop, all giving me error messages. So I went on my data and it worked.
Mm, that's crazy. So you
Yeah.
just went on your data, got off of the Wi-Fi, and voila.
Yeah, no, I was able to, like, verify myself, get back in, kick the hackers out, set up all like, I probably have, like, 5 different authentication things right now on my Instagram, so it's just, like, no one's getting back in.
Yeah, that's becoming more and more popular. So, and unfortunately, I think the best way to avoid, I mean, look, you had everything in the right place in terms of two-factor was set up and they still got in and
Yeah,
accessed it. So, I mean, nobody's really safe, it sounds like, right? And then you have the other side of the fence where you're seeing a lot of people creating duplicate accounts, which is
mhm,
very popular. I know probably almost a dozen people that have had this situation arise where it's like, somebody creates an Instagram account that with a name that's very similar to the official one, and they will use that account, follow all the same people that follow that account, and just start messaging them, whether they're trying to sell whatever it is, Bitcoin or whatever, try to scam they're trying to pull. But that's another way they're accessing it, right? Using the exact
mhm,
same feed of photos, exact same profile picture, looks like the person's account, but it's not, right? So
exactly.
yeah, that's happening
Scary
more and more.
world.
Got to be careful out there.
Mhm,
Trust no one.
exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Megan, this has been great. If our audience has or has any questions or wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Oh, that's a great question because my Instagram handle has recently changed. So, for the time being, it is Megan.Thom 5122.
Oh yeah, write that down. Get your pen and paper out. If you're driving, don't get your pen and paper out. You're gonna have to listen
Yep.
to this later. But
Mhm.
you can also is that the whole thing?
And then TikTok, of course.
Yeah,
You
TikTok.
can find me at Mugen Whom.
Spell that.
MooganHoom.
That's the one. That's the one
Yep.
right there. And
Don't ask me why.
if you want to email Megan, Megan@merged.ca. You can check that one out there. And Megan, we end every episode with the same question. That question is this: if you can choose one person, dead or alive, to represent your brand, who would it be and why?
Oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that. Um, oh, don't put me on the spot like that. Why did I not even think about
You're
this?
on the spot.
One person, dead or alive. Oh no.
Happy
Can
Hammy.
I
Who's repping Happy Hammy?
can I say like a family member?
Absolutely. Anybody, dead or alive.
My mom.
Boom.
There it is.
And why your mom?
She's just like me. I feel like she has the right spirit for it. She has the right vibes, the right energy. So no one would do it better.
That's a great one. That's awesome. It's funny you had to think about it, but that was the answer the whole time.
I just didn't know I was allowed to say a family member. I'm trying to think of a famous person over here.
Awesome. Cool. Megan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.